Oh, I'm terrible at this prank calling thing. Hello and welcome back. Today, we're going to be doing a little Q&A. I asked you guys on my Instagram to submit some questions, and so I have them here. Let's kind of jump in right away. The first question is, what is your biggest pet peeve? One of my biggest pet peeves, well, I have a couple of them. Nose picking is a huge pet peeve of mine. Jeremy just tends to do it often, and yeah, nose picking. Second one is talking too slow. Okay, that sounds quite terrible, but like when people just talk in circles and they don't get to their point, that really bothers me. Okie dokie, next question. Have you ever tried acting? Well, just a couple days ago I did. Yeah, a couple days ago we were filming a music video and I had to step in as a plan B, and I did a little bit of acting. It's definitely not a strong suit of mine, but it was fun. I need to get a little more comfortable in my own skin. But growing up, we used to do like musical theater, and even in dance, especially ballet, there's a lot of acting on stage. But I guess if the question is like camera acting, then no, not until this past Monday. Next question. Given your careers, why live in Florida and not New York City, LA, or Atlanta? Well, I have lived in all three of those states. But this is a great question. With how the world has evolved so much, you really don't need to live in a big hub to be present in the industry. So many things are done remotely now that we can live wherever and be close to family and it not really affect our jobs. Before we got married / before kind of COVID and stuff, I was traveling so much for work, like probably a couple of times a week. I used to work for a manufacturing company, and so I did a lot of their PR events and stuff. And because of how much Jeremy traveled, we decided that Atlanta was a perfect hub just because of easy airport accessibility and stuff. But then COVID struck and the world shut down, and now we're just beginning to kind of travel a little bit more for work again. I guess in summation, to answer this question, we can really work from anywhere, which is such a blessing. Just with Zoom calls, Zoom meetings, things along those lines, that's just how you kind of interact. And then, of course, if like Jeremy books something or we need to be in a certain location for work, we can just fly. Next question. Ooh. Okay, this says prank call Jeremy right now. Okay, give me 1 second. He's actually upstairs. Ready? Right, star 67. Oh. It's doing it. It's going in. Oh, hello there. I'm terrible at this prank calling thing. Okay, and Jeremy's literally right upstairs, so he's gonna hear me. I did it though. Whoever that question was for, I prank called him. How did you and Jeremy meet? This is actually a really fun question because, long story short, we actually have different groups of friends that we know each other, but we actually met at church in Los Angeles. That was like the very first interaction we had, and we were all together. I had some friends introduce me to Jeremy, but Jeremy and my twin brother Carson actually hit it off moreover than Jeremy and I did. They got to chatting quite a bit, and then it was like, hi, I'm Carolyn, hi, I'm Jeremy, nice to meet you, and that kind of was it. So that was our first interaction, but we went to like a small group together, and then we used to have game nights, and at one of our game nights, he asked me out. So that answers that question. Do you ever get questions on why you married young, and how do you respond if you do? Yeah, especially when we got engaged, a lot of people had kind of their 2 cents about things. And even now, more so people, you know, start to say stuff, but then they kind of look at our relationship and marriage and realize that it's not a big deal. How do I respond?
Babe, did you just try to prank call me?
Yes.
Is that you?
Yeah, it was me.
It was an unknown number. I never answered it. And then I heard the voicemail, and at first I was like, did a fan get my number? And I was like, oh no, it's Carolyn.
Yes, it worked! No, one of
She's
the questions.
downstairs being a vlog.
Okay, no, one of the questions was to prank call you. But I realized that if I put it on speaker, then you could probably hear me upstairs.
Yeah,
So
I had to like turn the volume all the way up to hear it because I was like, is this person like the quietest person I've ever heard?
Yes, it worked. So whoever asked the question about prank calling, it worked. Nice.
Very nice. Great question. Didn't work out probably as planned. Great question.
Anyways, I'll go back to this question. Or Jeremy, you might be able to jump in on this one. It says, do you ever get questions on why you married young and how do you respond if you do?
Because it's the best.
Well, I think when you know, you know.
Just kidding, yeah.
Yeah, and like ultimately if you have someone that checks all your boxes in regards to what you want as a future spouse, then go for it. But I think a lot of people when we were engaged always were like, oh wow, you're engaged, or wow, you're married already.
Yeah, people didn't know how to handle it. They thought it was pretty weird. But you know, I think it wasn't like we had all the boxes checked and then we just immediately got married too. I mean, we dated for a year and a half almost. I mean, over 2 years actually before we actually got married.
We were together for 2.5 years before we got married.
Correct.
So
we spent our time really getting to know each other in every and any type of situation, and I think by that point you can be very confident. I was confident even long before all of that, but it just reinforces what you already think ultimately. So time is your friend when you're thinking about getting married.
Yeah. Okay.
I gotta take this, sorry!
Catch you on the flip side. Next question. Have you noticed that you and Jeremy look alike? Have I noticed it yet? Like in person when I look at him being like, oh wow, he looks like me? No, and I hope to never get to that point. But we'll be in certain places where people think that we're like siblings and then all of a sudden he'll like hold my hand or kiss me on the cheek and they're like, whoa! So yeah, hope that answers your question. Will you be releasing new merch soon? Yes. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks. There's gonna be some fun things coming. I'm so excited, you guys have no idea. Next question, what is your goal in life? Oof, that's pretty deep. I think my ultimate goal in life is to give back and help those around me. And I feel like that's just such like a cliche answer, but I feel so called to help those around me and called to help the youth. And if there's anything that I can ever do in my power to provide wisdom and guidance in certain areas or just come alongside someone and love them, that to me is what makes life worth living. You know, you can have all the things in the world, but ultimately it doesn't matter. So yeah, if that answers that. I could probably talk about this topic for a really long time. Next question, how are you so confident? And is there any tip you would give to someone who is trying to love and accept herself? Great question. I think loving yourself is a journey. You know, there are gonna be certain times where you look at yourself and like, oh man, like I know I can be so much better in the sense of like, I know I can do better, be better, love better, be kinder. But ultimately, you need to love yourself in your darkest of times and in the most beautiful circumstances because we're all we get, right? You know, I'm never gonna be someone else. And so I need to accept my flaws and also the things that make me me. I think we as humans are always trying to better ourselves in certain areas and especially certain places that we definitely know are not our strong suits so that we can love people better. I guess in summation a little bit, think about one thing that you like about yourself now and hold on to that. You know, you have people around you that love you for a reason or are friends with you for a reason. And so I would say pick out your top qualities and be like, yes, I rock those. And then with the things you're not so fond about yourself, just really see how you can continue to work and improve. And the beauty of our circumstances now is that we don't have to be who we are now for the rest of our lives. Like we're able to change and evolve and grow and experience things, and so many of those things as a whole just shape and develop you into who you are. So yeah, if that helps. The great question too, a little bit deep as well. Have you ever been in a busy time in your life and thought of giving up, and what do you do? Yeah, couple years ago, 2 years ago, there was a season of my life where I just felt like I couldn't breathe. And what I mean by that is there was just so many things going on around me and my life was just so crazy busy that I never had time for myself. And it was a big realization for me too because I was growing in a career, growing in a job, and I didn't know how to say no. What was such a blessing is like I got actually really sick. Not like deathly sick, just I had the flu and kind of things along that realm, and I literally had to stop cold turkey. It was such a beautiful thing because I got to sit back and realize, wow, life doesn't have to be this busy. I don't have to be stretching myself so thin in order to love where I'm at or to be fulfilled in where I'm at. It's okay to sit down and just be. For this particular question, I think it was like God saying, okay, time to settle down. Like, I'm going to make you ill so that you cannot do anything. But after that point in time, when I, rested, healed, got better again, I kind of always had that in the back of my head of like, okay, I have the ability to say no and I have the ability to slow down. And I need to exercise my rights as an individual and be like, no, this is too much for me. And be okay with that too. Next question, possibly too intrusive, but have you ever struggled with an eating disorder? Not really, no, thank God. But I think that as a dancer specifically, you're staring at yourself in a mirror 24/7 and that person in the mirror changes daily. And especially being a young girl in the world and your body changing and things like that, it was definitely a hard transition to realize that where I was at was okay. I ate really healthy and went on certain diets and stuff, but ultimately, thank goodness I had a lot of people surrounding me with good wisdom and continually pouring into me. And so no, thank God that was not a big deal in my life, but a number of my friends have gone through things like that. So I think seeing their experiences with things allowed me to have a little bit more of clear vision as to what I wanted for my life. Okay, next question is favorite memory with Jer. Oh, that's so hard. There's so many. One of my favorite memories, we were dating at the time and I had gotten some time off from work and he wasn't filming, and we decided to kind of plan a spur of the moment trip to Sonoma, California, which is like wine country. And we drove from LA to San Francisco. We stayed in San Francisco a night. And then we went to Sonoma. And just that whole experience of like wine tasting, being together, just laughing, giggling, has been one of my favorite memory/trips. Next question. Do you drink coffee? And if so, how do you like it? Yes, I drink coffee. I love coffee. I drink it black because that's kind of the only way you should drink coffee. How has Jeremy's job and fame affected your relationship? I don't think it's affected it at all. Yeah, I can confidently say that. We started dating before he kind of, got quite popular. He did a lot of VO stuff before, so many people didn't recognize him. Some people did for sure, but it's a lot more difficult to recognize a voice than it is like someone on screen. So yeah, I think because we've grown up together in a sense, like we've been together for a number of years now and we've seen each other grow and excel, that I don't think it's affected our relationship. Do you and Jeremy plan on having kids? If so, what do you want to name them? Yes, we do plan on having children, not anytime soon, hopefully, not anytime soon. Anyways, if so, what we'd like to name them, I have loved the name Caden forever. Caden will definitely be one of our boy names and call him Cade for short. And then Christian is another name that we love. My parents had a baby after my twin and I, but he passed away like the day he was born. And so we love the name Christian to kind of honor him. And it's just such a sweet thing. So yeah, Christian and Caden for sure. And then we were talking about Cameron for a girl, but we haven't landed the plane on that entirely. But yeah, so those are kind of the three we have right now. What was your reaction when you first heard Ballerina? Oof. So before Jeremy even recorded, he kind of told me he had this idea for a song and he sang a couple things, and like, when you like kind of get emotional and you feel it like well in your throat, like that was when he was first singing like the track demo. And I don't even know if Jeremy knows this, but I remember the next day when he had it all recorded and done, like I just remember like getting that welling feeling in my throat and like my eyes like beginning to tear. It was so sweet. Like every time I listen to that song, I just feel so loved. Yeah, that answers that question. I think that about sums up all of our questions for now. I hope you liked it. There was definitely some serious moments in there. I feel like I haven't really done a sit-down Q&A on this channel yet. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you do. I guess you can like the video if you like it. You can subscribe if you so desire. No pressure whatsoever. But if you're into that type of thing, by all means, go for it. But this was super fun. Thank you so much for all the questions that were submitted. There were so many good ones. We'll definitely have to do a part 2 of this because there was just a bunch that I didn't get to. So, peace out, Girl Scout. Catch you on the flip side.